Okay, good crew, we're back again. We're staying with the thoracic mobility line of stretching here. Thorax is pretty important in terms of mobility. It's not one that we give enough attention to. So here's a technique to really improve your overall thoracic mobility. Thoracic mobility will give you better access to different motions that you can then stabilize and or strengthen. Okay, so I'm going to ask these two, Nicholas and Mary, they're back with me again, to stand up tall on their knees, tall kneeling. They're going to put their heels together here. Okay, squeezing the heels together is going to help them engage their core a little bit, squeezing the gut and the butt. I'm going to ask them to pick up the kettlebells in front of them and retract those shoulders and engage those postural muscles. Okay? At this point, now I'm going to ask you to rotate your head to the right and take a picture of how far your periphery is. What is on the very edge of your periphery? Just take a mental note of what you can see. Now do the same thing going to the left. Alright? So you got a mental picture here, okay? Now what I'm asking you to do is, while holding the kettlebell and retracted shoulders, rotate your shoulders to the right as far as you can, okay? But you need to be able to breathe. So if you cannot breathe in this position, back off about an inch. Okay? I'm going to ask you to take 3 deep breaths through your nose. 90% in, 90% out. Expanding and contracting that thorax, working on postural muscle activation, postural activation. At the end of that 3 breaths, I'm going to ask you to try to take a little bit more. Again, if you cannot breathe here, back off an inch. If you can breathe, go ahead and do another 3 cycles of nasal breathing. At the end of that 3 cycles of breathing, let's go ahead and do the same thing to the other direction. So you're rotating as far as you can. Back off if you can't breathe. Let's go 3 cycles. Still squeezing the glutes. At the end of the 3 cycles, let's take a little bit more motion if we can, and revisit the breathing. Okay, now come back to the middle and rotate your head and take another snapshot. Did it improve? Okay, all right. Cervical mobility is very related to thoracic mobility. Okay. All right, now let's step this up a notch. Bring the kettlebell around behind you now, and you can hold it with both hands and try to press the kettlebell to the floor here. All right, that's really going to engage the postural muscles. Same thing here. Rotate your head to the right. Take a snapshot of what you can see. Rotate to the left. Take a snapshot of what you can see. And come back to the middle. Now rotate the shoulders with trying to press that kettlebell to the floor. Rotate your shoulders to your limit, and then breathe. As always, if you can't breathe, back off an inch. 3 nasal breaths in and out. At the end of those 3, try to take a little bit more motion, and then revisit the 3 breaths. As always, we do this in both directions, but in the sake of time, I'm going to step it up. All right, now, let's go all the way to the right and get that kettlebell outside your hip. So you're still trying to press it to the floor, trying to get it around outside your hip, rotate your shoulders, and breathe. Going 3 cycles in, out. At the end of the 3, try to capture a little bit more rotation and revisit the breathing. Okay, good. Come back to middle. We would again do this to both sides. Look to your right. What does it feel like? Okay. Feel like you have more range of motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, guys, this can be used as a warm-up, it can be used as a cool-down, but at the end of the day, it's all about improving your thoracic mobility, which should help your overall functional mobility and your ability to train.